I was in college and I had a lot of classes and a lot of jobs, two jobs, and a whole club to manage with about 400 members, and so I had work to do. I also like to stay up late to have fun with friends and play the piano for no reason, I just 'cause. And so one time, uh, I was working in the computer lab and I really, really, really wanted to get close to this one guy who was always in the computer lab. And I'm still friends with him to this day, so it worked. And so I dedicatedly started working on an essay I didn't need to be working that hard on. And I kept working on it until he left. But by that point, I was so invested in my essay. I kept working on it. And then I realized, oh no, it's already 6 a.m. And so I rushed to my room, got changed, and then ran to class. And that was how the first all-nighter happened. And then I went to all of my classes. I hosted an event, and then I was like, okay, I'll sleep after finishing this assignment or whatever the hell it was. But this assignment was actually due at midnight. And then there was another assignment that was due that very morning, the next morning. And so that my brain was working really slow, and so it took forever and a half, and I just barely managed to get everything done at daybreak. I got it done at daybreak. And so I had to run to class again. That's how the second all-nighter happened. So I went to class again and I did everything that I had to do in the day, hosted another event. There were a lot of events that time. And then I went to a friend meetup that I promised I'd go to. And then it was yeah, I wanted to see him again. And so I went to the computer lab again. But this time there was actually two projects I had to get done. One of which had to actually get done the next day, and the other one I just figured I would start with because it was easier to get started with, so it would help me get the brain juices flowing, even though they should not have been flowing. And so, but before I did that, I decided to play piano for my sanity, and that took longer than it should have. And so I had to rush from the piano room to the computer lab, which were right next to each other. And that's when I realized that the guy who was studying with me, I kept going to the same computer lab to study with him. He could hear me playing, and so I was like, ah. That was an internal panic. Oh my God. And then I worked on the project, and then, halfway through all these sessions, he always leaves before me, and he's like, "Man, you sure work hard." And I'm like, "You don't understand. It's like 90% because of you," but I don't tell him that. Um, I don't tell him that. And daybreak hits again, and I'm like, "Oh my freaking God, I don't know how much longer I can do this."